Well, let's get straight into the politics now, shall we? Because I'm very pleased to say that joining us now is leader of the Liberal Democrats, Sir Ed Davey. Very good morning to you, Sir Ed.
Good morning. Good morning.
Can we start by talking about Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor? Now, you will be aware, of course, that this is an active investigation. No charges have been brought against Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor. He, of course, has always denied any wrongdoing. Were you aware of his close ties, his friendship to the paedophile Jeffrey Epstein when you were Trade Minister in 2006? Because, of course, at that time, Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor held the position of Trade Envoy. Were you aware of his friendship with Jeffrey Epstein?
No, actually, I was in 2011 when I was involved in trade policy. I wasn't actually his minister. The UKTI minister was Lord Green. But we became aware, didn't we, during that period. And indeed, I think that's why he had to step down in July 2011. I presume the Prime Minister at the time, David Cameron, would have taken that decision. And what we're trying to do today is to shed a lot more light on all that. The fact that he was appointed in the first place. I think the public want to have answers to their questions. And we've asked through this debate, a humble address, to get all the information, the due diligence, the vetting, correspondence between ministers that led to the decision to appoint Andrew in the first place, including correspondence with Peter Mandelson.
OK, moving on, Sir Ed, of course, you're slightly critical of the government's Ascend reforms. You don't think they're going to be good enough. What is it you'd like to see being done?
Well, my first concern is about early intervention. If you talk to many parents with children with special education needs or disabilities, and I'm one of them, one of the big failings of the current system is it doesn't identify those needs early, so early action can be taken. And that's in the interest of the child. It improves their life chances and help the family, but actually will make the whole system more affordable, because by detecting them much later on, you've actually spent a lot of money and it's far more costly, and you've undermine the child's chances in the family. So early intervention is the key issue I raised in the House yesterday. But I'd go on to that. Looking at some of the details of the government's reforms, I'm not concerned. I am concerned that they will not cover all the different complex and diverse needs that we have, that children have. And so we're going to be scrutinising them very, very carefully.
There's nothing more important than keeping your money and your identity safe online. And with so many VPN options available, choosing the right one can be pretty daunting. But this video's sponsor, ExpressVPN, is making the choice easier for GB News viewers. ExpressVPN is offering up to 75% off, plus 4 extra months free. That's top-level security from just £2.49 a month, and you're covered by their 30-day money-back guarantee. So just click the link in this video's description or scan the QR code now. Remember, when you're online, you are often sharing personal data, so hackers can steal your information, your passwords, your photos, and your bank details in just seconds. But ExpressVPN encrypts your connection, making it virtually impossible for hackers to access your personal information. So why choose ExpressVPN? Well, it couldn't be easier to use. With just one click, you are protected. And ExpressVPN uses military-grade AES 256 encryption, which is the same standard trusted by the US government to guard their classified information. With their new tiered plans, you can protect up to 14 devices at once and manage passwords securely. Live chat support is available 24/7, and it typically connects you in under a minute with a real person. Click the link in this video's description or scan the QR code to get up to 75% off ExpressVPN, plus 4 months extra for free. Start protecting yourself today with ExpressVPN.
Sir Ed, again, we'll have to be careful with this as well because it is an active investigation, but I do want to ask you about Lord Mandelson, who was released on bail in the early hours of this morning after being arrested yesterday on suspicion of misconduct in public office. When he's spoken to us previously, he has denied, of course, any wrongdoing. But can I ask you this morning, should he ever have been selected to be US ambassador? And are there questions now, do you believe, about Sir Keir Starmer and his judgement?
There are absolutely questions about the Prime Minister's judgment. I was surprised when he was appointed in the first place, given his track record of having to resign or be sacked from a number of offices. But the fact that the Prime Minister has admitted that he knew that Mandelson continued his relationship with Epstein even after Epstein had become a convicted paedophile, raises huge questions about the Prime Minister's judgment. And then you add to that his decision to appoint Matthew Doyle, Lord Doyle, to the House of Lords. I think it's a catastrophic failure of judgment by the Prime Minister.
Sir Ed, the latest YouGov poll puts you at 13% in the polls. You should be doing a lot better than you are, given the turmoil in the government and, of course, the Conservative Party also flailing. You've coined this phrase, don't let Trump's America become Farage's Britain. Some people are saying you've got Farage derangement syndrome. What do you make of that?
Well, I don't want Donald Trump's America to become Farage's Britain. Donald Trump is a disaster for his country, both economically, he's damaging our country too. And if you look at the awful things that are happening in America, Nigel Farage wants to repeat them here. Reform wants to repeat them here. So, for example, you look at what's happening in Minnesota, there are volunteer midwives helping women have their babies at home rather than having to go to hospital, because these ICE agents, which Nigel Farage wants here, are going into hospital because it's the easiest way for them to decide who they don't like and then penalise. I think that sort of barbarity is not something that is true to British values, and so we will oppose that. And by the way, if you look at those polls, we're actually at 14%, and the margin of error between the 5 parties is very, very small. There's only 10 points between 5 parties now, and you know that's never happened before.
But
and what it means is that parties like ours will keep winning.
Just to correct you, because the latest YouGov poll does put you on the 16th of February on 13%. That is a drop previously from the 9th of February, where you were on 14%.
Well, you haven't seen today's poll.
Okay.
Can I correct you, I'm afraid?
I'll look forward to seeing that. But you should be doing better now, shouldn't you, Sir Ed?
If you let me finish. Sorry. I'm sorry. Right, let me correct you, I'm afraid. Today's poll out today puts us on 14%, and I thought you were referring to that poll, so I'm sorry, you're referring to an old poll. I'm referring to today's poll. There's just a margin of error between 4 parties and just 10 points between 5 parties, and that's one of the reasons why we keep winning at elections. You know, which party won more council by-elections last year than any other party? It was the Liberal Democrats. Last May, at the big set of local elections, we beat both the Labour and the Conservative Party at the same election for the first time ever. And at the last general election, we won our best result for over 100 years. So we keep winning, and I feel we have a moral responsibility to win because of the divisions that we're seeing, particularly from Nigel Farage.
There are reports in the Daily Express, actually an exclusive on the Daily Express today, about Shamima Begum. And this is a text between her and a filmmaker. And it's her and her friend who are in this camp in Syria for ISIS brides. They are planning to get out. They are planning to escape, hoping to get to Turkey, where in turn they hope to then be deported back to Britain. Failing that, they're talking about potentially getting on a small boat and coming into the UK illegally. What do you make of those reports, and should Shamima Begum be allowed to return to the UK?
Well, I haven't read those reports, and I will now go and look at them. But I think anyone who comes into our country illegally should be dealt with. And if they've got no case to be here, they should be deported. One of the things I've been so angry about with the small boats is before we had Brexit, we could return people who came over here because we had an agreement, a returns agreement with 28 countries in Europe. But thanks to the Conservatives and indeed Nigel Farage, who supported it, we can no longer do that. And the small boats problem has got worse and worse and worse since Brexit. And what I'd like to know is, when is Nigel Farage, when are the Conservatives going to apologise for causing the small boats problem in the first place, whether it's Shamima Begum or anyone else, frankly?
OK, so Ed, a final question, if you don't mind. Of course, this inquiry into the Nottingham triple killer, Valdo Calacane, has found that mental health professionals decided not to detain him after they considered research that addressed overrepresentation of black young men in custody. What do you make of that? Is this sort of woke gone mad?
Well, whoever made that decision are going to have to be held to account for that decision, shouldn't they? That's why it's right there's an inquiry into this, and all the many mistakes that appeared to be made in this tragedy need to be dealt with. And, you know, my heart goes out to the families involved. They've been put through absolute emotional roller coaster and such tragedy, and that's why we need to get to the bottom of it. And people who have made decisions for the wrong reasons need to be held to account.
OK, Sir Ed Davey, thank you very much for your time and for joining us on GB News Breakfast.
Thank you.